Hi, I'm Batista at drfitnessusa.com. Let's talk about pain. Do you know that 80% of North Americans suffer from back pain? That 1 in 3 women over 50 suffers from osteoporosis, 1 in 5 men? Do you know that there's a 16% chance of premature death following a fracture? Do you know that worldwide 1 in 10 deaths is caused by lack of exercise? What would your life look like if you didn't have those pain? Well, I'm here to tell you that it is possible by following certain principles. Now, the first principle is the principles of grounding. In the grounding episode, we talked about the nervous system and how the nervous system can be compared to the electrical outlet in your house. And when it's outdated and you plug in too many appliances, then you're going to blow a fuse. And the same thing happens to the body. When you overload your nervous system, you blow a fuse, and that is going to translate in some type of an injury, some type of a disease. So the first thing is you need to strengthen the nervous system. So go back to that episode and watch the information on grounding and on the nervous system so that you can understand that first principle. The other episode that I like you to go back to watch is the episode on posture. This is actually second part of the episode on posture because, again, to understand the secrets to achieving a pain-free life, you need to understand the consequences of bad posture in your health. Bad posture is responsible for many ailments that you might have that you don't even think might be related to postural misalignment. Postural misalignment creates stagnation in the body, and wherever there is stagnation, there is disease. Your body is a self-healing mechanism. It wants to heal. The only thing you have to give it is what it needs to heal, and it will heal. Pains, injuries often are caused by poor biomechanical movement, micro habits, overcompensating. So in order to heal injuries and such pains, then we need to teach the body to reverse the process. We need to teach the body the proper movement biomechanics.
When you train improperly or you annex the wrong muscles, synergistic muscles aren't actually strengthened in a very specific way, then you can have abnormalities in the biomechanic function of the joint. And because it's affecting micro receptors level 1 and level 2, which control the axis of the joint, you'll experience pain.
So now the person has back pain, and the first thing that they're going to think of, they're going to go to the chiropractor. So why is the chiropractor not the answer to all?
Okay, so let's say I have a back pain and I just want to rule out a bulging disc or pressure on the disc or the vertebrae are misaligned. Okay, once you get adjusted, you need to go immediately to a gym and start working out.
Why?
Because if the chiropractor line the vertebrae up properly, that's like a bridge that the arc is out of place and the bridge is going to collapse. Now we put it all in place. Your body is going to be firing at optimum level. That's the greatest time your muscles will contract the most. They'll be the strongest. And when they do an exercise in the correct line of movement, your body's going to get physically stronger, and it's going to hold the vertebrae or the joints in the correct position. If you don't do that, a few days later, or you go home and lie down, the vertebrae is all going to go out of place.
So what about if you do have a bulging disc?
You can get neuromuscular massage, but you can still go out to the gym and start to recorrect your body properly. If it was really extreme in the lower extremities, you could stop from the top down and send energy from the upper body to your legs. There's different ways of addressing stress in the lower body. But usually when you have a bulging disc is because it's fatigue from you doing things incorrectly. You know, when people come into my office and they give me this whole list of problems that they're experiencing that they've dealt with their therapist, their physiotherapist, their personal trainer, their chiropractor, and they're very concerned. And so they asked me, well, Doc, what seems to be going on? You know, I'm kind of have that fearful of actually lifting weight. And I explained, you know, that's very interesting because when I develop a program, the music to the way that your body runs, just like an acupuncturist knows where to put the right meridian in, unlike personal training that's putting needles everywhere, you will not have any pain. I just demonstrated I have a dislocated shoulder. I can't do two arm side raise. There could be some neck issues, and yet I did an amazing exercise with amazing weight with no pain at all. So there's always a way to work around an injury. It's kind of like you have a weak player in the team, but you have a whole group of muscles and auxiliary players that'll help you out in case there's a fire. So here it is. You got step 1, step 2. Step 2 is to go to a physical gym. Yoga does not do that. It uses different muscle fibers. What your doctor or what your therapist or what your chiropractor will not tell you. They'll tell you that they can treat or create programs to alleviate pain temporarily, but unless they have a sufficient strength training program to address synergistic muscles in the body, you will continuously having pain, not removing the causative factor and what causes the pain in the first place, that moves your joints incorrectly by improper training. And that can happen even with personal trainers. So, and doing exercises in a chiropractor's office with a ball and elastics is definitely a sure way to have more pain.
Why is that?
Okay, one of the reasons that you have pain in the body is because the muscle is either fatigued or the joint is strained. So when you take a band and you try to, like they'll say that your rotor cuff, the muscles that surround your shoulder, are injured, so to speak. And so they're going to give you an elastic band, or they're going to give you an exercise where you're moving, your arm is down at your side like 90 degrees and they go in and out, in and out. Well, just picture that. Your arm is strained, you're lying on your side, you can't move, and they give you this elastic band, and you don't know what company it is, okay? So it's like training on a machine where the cable is not oiled properly. So you're straining against this elastic. So as soon as you put pressure on the exercise or movement, you're going to experience pain. So you're going to say, oh, I'm in pain.
I was supposed to have surgery too last year, and by 3 surgeons rather, and said that, you know, if I don't cut up my shoulder, I'm going to get it's going to get worse and you'll be in pain. No, it is not. So I just stuck to my guns and did my thing, and now every part of the program I can use again, and I better still I can lift things, where I couldn't before. I had to do this before to get something on the wall, and now I can just do that, no problem. And no surgery, and no splint. I was supposed to be in a splint for 8 months. So there it goes to that. And yeah, and it's very fast.
If I put my body in a biomechanic position, I can override the nervous system by strengthening the muscle in a comforting way that causes zero pain. It's like having a baseball team and one or two players are missing, but now you put the whole team together and they all help you win the game. So when you do a certain sequence of exercises, even the weak part of the muscle where you're experiencing pain, if you change the angulation, all the other muscles and fibers will come into play and help the muscle become stronger. And increased in strength reduces pain in the body. So after 5 minutes in the gym, I have full mobility. Now, how do you figure that? I just came in the gym. I can't move my shoulder to the right. I can't move it to the right. Because the exercise is ergonomically set up that the brain is telling me, oh, this is a comfortable exercise. This is good for my body. You see? Now, if you're in a doctor's office and you take out those elastic bands, your brain's going to say, oh, this is very painful. 6 months later, you're still going to be playing with the man. If you want a faster exposure to the injury, then you're going to do neuromuscular, which is a different type of massage. It's not active release, it's called neuromuscular. Most people don't know really how to do it. But the fastest, easiest way is called Dr. Fitness USA Up. Create a prescription and get your butt into the gym and train at a level that you're capable of so that you can make progress in your life.
So what about balls? Now we understand why the elastic bands are not so good, but what about the balls?
Okay, so you have a lower back pain. The spine is connected to your lower extremities. It goes up to your brain. So now you sit on a ball. What is a ball? A ball is an unstable surface. So your body is definitely not grounded. You can go over to a certain leg press machine, and if you're biomechanically put in it properly, I have a secret technique for that, you can increase your strength 20 or 30%. You can leg press 200 or 300 pounds with no sweat at all. That's fun. That's committing suicide.
Started with Stephen recently, and I will tell everyone right here, right now, that just yesterday, I lifted more weight in one particular exercise than I ever had in my life ever before. And that's not an ego thing. It's not to say, look how strong Brian is now. All that is to tell you that what Stephen has is already working, and I've just begun to taste the fruits of this unbelievable system. And
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah, it's an amazing system already, and I barely scratched the surface. I cannot wait to experience the rest of it. And the reason I love what Stephen does, let me just say this, if I may, Stephen. One of the things I really love, is that it addresses pain. People that have joint pain. I have, in both knees, something called osteoarthritis, which is early onset version of full-blown arthritis. And there's pain involved. Well, now, with working with Stephen, just in, 4 workouts, I think, so far, if that, I have no pain in my knees like I used to. It's continually getting less and less. Like right now, I would normally feel pain. Just sitting here existing, I don't feel a thing. It is phenomenal. I'm excited, and I can't wait. That's why one of the reasons I wanted Stephen on the show was to help spread the word of this, especially for those of us that are getting up there, 40, 50, 60, even beyond. And Stephen's a physical specimen in his own right. And, he's the product of the
people
product.
that say, I can't do leg presses because I have arthritic pain in my thighs or my joints. I think I'll take lightweight or not do an exercise at all. And then I show them how to do a leg press, but ergonomically correctly. I put in a musical score, and I erase the memory of pain from their brain, and they start to function perfectly. And you ask them, do you have any pain? No. Well, how is it you weren't even doing a leg exercise, which grounds your body, and now you start off with 250 pounds, and now you're doing 650? How does that, would you say that you had more than a 50% increase? And why would you do a heavier weight for your lower extremes? Because it sends energy to your brain, it sends energy to your upper body. If you don't have a solid leg program, or you won't make those changes that you're capable of by doing aerobic activity, by doing strength, treadmills, or nonsensical exercise that chiropractors give you in their treatment room.
So a lot of times we get people that, life goes on and then they go on and carry boxes or do something and then they have a pain somewhere. So many times, as you know, they stop training altogether. They think that they need to rest.
No, you don't rest. What you do is you get back on the horse and you do it properly and erase the memory of what you actually had the pain caused from.
So when they say, yes, but I went to my chiropractor and he said...
Okay, wait a second. So you went to your chiropractor. So supposing you tore your muscle, or we call it strain the muscle. Okay? Going to the chiropractor is not going to help you very much. Okay? Well, they could give you an adjustment that'll help you feel like you have mobility. But if you went to a neuromuscular specialist and he separated the fibers that cause the strain in the first place, you can immediately go to a gym and start training again. It might be very painful, but you'd be surprised after 10 minutes on a correct program, you won't have any pain at all. And that goes for sciatic pain also. People are not educated on what are the steps to help one's body. They only yell help when all of a sudden something out of the ordinary happens to them. But the truth is they haven't trained sensibly at all, or they've done exercise that's going to lead to the deterioration or downfall eventually. So you could have a pain in your wrist, right? And you think, well, I'd have to rest it. But you can do an exercise in your opposing movement and it'll take away the pain.
Yeah, that's what happened to me when I had the wrist problems, and then you showed me all these wrist exercises that I still do, for that matter, and I have almost never any pain again in my wrists since I've been doing those exercises regularly, about maybe once a week or once every other week.
Absolutely.
So that was great. And so we talked about lower back, we talked about bulging disc, we talked about a little bit about shoulder and knees. These are two things that people complain a lot about. So what about knees?
If you know how to biomechanically set up a leg press machine, there's no pressure on the knees. Let's take an example. The favorite is when you sit on like a chair type of deal and you flex your leg upwards, right?
Leg extension, you
Yeah,
mean?
leg extension.
Mm-hmm.
So if you went to a medical, they'll say, oh, there's tremendous stress in your knees. Well, I'd keep doing it if I were you. It's the way that you do it. How high you raise the weight, how low you raise the weight. But people usually drop their leg to 90 degrees, which puts extreme stress on the knees. But if they knew how to create an angulated starting position, they won't have any pain. On a hammer, MTS, isolateral leg extension machine, and you can see that there's a knob here, so the wheel is out slightly. There's not a straight drop. A straight drop is like this, see? So you tilt it out. Okay? So for some people that have knee pain, they usually have the thigh right into the thing like this, see? Okay. I don't do it that way. My thigh is almost off the pad. My toe is pointed out and up and flexed. So watch.
So the toe is pointed out?
Yeah. And it flex upward
Flex
rather than pointed. Now watch when I do it. You see my thigh is completely off the pad. this way, no pain at all. Interesting, huh?
I noticed you were doing a shorter range of motion. Is that part of the trick?
Well, because there's a governor here, it is a shorter range of motion because the thigh muscles only work from this angle up. So you don't necessarily have to go all the way back. Those are other muscles that come into play. See? So when you do it at 90 degrees, like there's a lot of strain on the knees. And the muscle really isn't working efficiently. It's only your tendons. But when you go down 45 or 60 degrees, there's constant tension on the muscle. So watch this. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, because a lot of people complain. They say when we give them the leg extension, they go, "Oh, that's the one that hurt my knees." A lot of
Because
times.
they are not instructed properly in how to do it correctly.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the leg press, depending on which angle the weight comes down, then it would be kind of important not to lock the knees.
Well, we never lock the knees. The thing is...
Oh, wait, I don't think so. There was one leg press where you said lock the knees when the angle came from another direction. You always told me to lock the knees this way.
Okay, when you're sitting up like I am in the chair and there's a leg press where I can just push outwards, you can lock out the knees or do whatever you want because the bone is not resting on top of bone. When you have an angulated leg press, the bone is coming from a high position, and when you straighten it out, the bone will rest on top of bone. So you won't want to lock the leg because you want what we call a constant tension on the muscle, which is positive. So as long as you keep your muscles strong and healthy, then it'll take care of your joints. The perception in the industry is no pain, no gain. Okay? But we don't promote strength training as one would for like Arnold or bodybuilders. We promote strength training as the #1 anti-aging tool for women today. Even the medical community has transferred or into what we call the 21st century. Everything is different today. There's no excuse for a man or a woman not to be able to go to a physical gym to have a great time with your body and slow down the aging.